person but Ms. Barryl Biekman, a well-known figure and national voice on slavery, past here in the Netherlands. She has Suriname roots, but has been actively working on facilitating the setting of the African Union 6th Region Diaspora organization, which comprises of Africans and people of African descent in Europe, the America, and the Caribbean. So she'll be sharing her thoughts on achieving good governance and how this plays out at the family level. So welcome to Radio Voice of Naija show, Dr. Biekman. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and greetings to all the listeners. Yes,
I love your
warmest greetings.
I love your charming smile. It's infectious.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you please tell our listeners, Doctor, some more about yourself and what you do?
Okay, so I born in Suriname. I define myself as African, an African woman. So when people ask me what I am, I said African Surinamese.
Yeah, exactly.
Live in the Netherlands with the Netherlands nationality. African is my kinship.
Okay.
And Europe. There's African Surinamese living in Europe, in the Netherlands, Europe. So most of the time when I'm in places with sisters and brothers with the family, I identify myself as an African.
Okay.
Because people cannot see if I'm from Suriname, the Caribbean, the Netherlands.
Yeah.
If you look at my color, everything, I'm an African, yes.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell our listeners about the AU 6th region and why that is important for all Africans in the diaspora. Tell us a little bit about this.
The African Union 6th region. It is a very important development. It started, for decades. You hear about Marcus Garvey was traveling. We have a lot of Pan-African leadership who always talk about things like repatriation to Africa, have a nationality from Africa.
Yeah.
So it was very important when the African Union in 2003 added to the Constitutive Act, this Article 3Q, whereby they declared that Africans in diaspora, they invite African diaspora to become a part of Africa. And the 6th region is, if you look at, if you see it in the context of 5 regions, African economical strategical regions, political regions, then they add a 6th region whereby they identify that region for African diaspora.
Wow.
And how I identify this African diaspora, they have in 2005, the African Union has defined the African diaspora, in fact, as all people who are willing to contribute to Africa. So this definition is still in progress, because African diaspora is African diaspora, but they add to that definition that in their meaning, all African who are planning to do something for Africa, for the interest of Africa and the benefit of all Africans all over the world.
Is good.
It's very good, a very good development. But you have people who are not, who cannot, because of their situation, to show that they are willing to contribute. So therefore, we establish a slogan: "Leave no community behind" model. So if you look at the diaspora, this is very important, because the African Union, when they declare when they take this resolution in the Constitutive Act of the Article 3Q, whereby they declare the African diaspora as the 6th region, they thought we were organized. The African Union thought that African diaspora all over the world were organized. But that was not the case. Then they recognized that we were not organized. So therefore, from 2003 until 2012, it cost a lot of times to negotiate with the African diaspora about what they would like to achieve with this sixth region. So what we have, so that means that we had to look at the nature of the African diaspora. In Europe, we look at the nature of the African diaspora in Europe, and further we are now busy to look to develop the nature of the diaspora in the various chapters. For instance, chapter the Netherlands. I myself, I talk about the 15th century and the 20th century diaspora.
Okay.
And who are they? The 15th century diaspora are people like me,
Yeah.
who our ancestors were enslaved and brought to, how do you say, the crime against what happened. Okay, then we have the 20th century diaspora. What I mean by the diaspora from who born in Africa
Yeah.
and scattered all over the world
Yeah. Okay.
for several reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
And what we have, okay, I hope you go ahead. Maybe you have a question.
Yeah. So, what is the difference between really this African Union and African diaspora?
You mean the Africans, the African diaspora?
Yeah.
Okay, so
The
if you look,
African Union.
okay, the African Union. So it's very important because, how can I put this straight? Look, let me take it from the context of the African ambassadors.
Okay.
The African ambassadors in the Netherlands, for instance, they had to do the political issues that belongs to the countries. For instance, let me take Nigeria. I think that the ambassador, let me compliment first the ambassador of Nigeria, likewise the ambassador of South Africa.
Yeah.
This Miss Professor Dr. Akambi,
Yeah.
she's doing great, she's doing well,
Okay.
because she is supporting us. But if you look at from the context of the embassies, I can imagine that the ambassador is more focused on the diaspora, on the Africans from Nigeria in this country.
Of course.
Yes, that is of course, yes,
Yeah.
that's good. But the African Union itself, in the context of the African Union 6th region, it mustn't make a sense that an African diaspora from Suriname, because we don't have African Union ambassadors, or from the Antilles, or from the Guyanas. All Africans in diaspora in the Netherlands must find a place, if it is now the African within the context of the African Union ambassador from Nigeria, who is now the dean, or the South African ambassador, or the Ghanese. When we talk about the African Union 6th region, we don't make a difference between a Nigeria diaspora. We are all family. So if we take, for instance, a project in Ghana, it is not so that it only people from Ghana could do something with that project. No. It is all, we all, Nigerians can take care for projects in, for instance, Cameroon too.
Okay.
Cameroonians. So that is the challenge of this. That is the challenge of this African Union 6th region policy, that we are going to learn to take care of Africa as a whole,
Yes.
as a continent.
Yes.
Take care of the family in the global, outside Africa.
Okay.
That means that I can care about, I may care. I have now the possibilities. I did it already, but I can look also, irrespective of I'm from Suriname to Ghana, to Cameroon, to Kenya. So that is what we expected.
Yes.
A family.
Yes.
So when the African Union declared the 6th region, they thought we were organized.
Okay.
And the challenge now is, how are we going to reunite? To unite. Because what we have discovered is that Africans, for instance, from Suriname, when you talk about Africans from Ghana, for
Yeah.
instance,
Mhm.
they have stereotypical
Attitudes, yeah.
from each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some Africans from Suriname, they thought that Africans from Ghana has sold
Yeah.
our
yes.
people
Yeah.
to the white Europeans.
Yeah, but it's not to people of our century. It's not to people of our century.
But
So
this
why would they still be having that? I mean, why would that still be bothering them in this 21st century? These are things that
It is
happened
bothering
in the
me.
15th century, 16th century. Why are they still bringing it
I
now?
will tell you why. I will tell you why. So let me tell you that I myself, as a chair of the national platform of the Dutch slavery past, I'm also looking at that. But I'm not looking at that as a how do you say how do you say
Put fault or
om te beschuldigen.
yeah,
Om
to
te-
put a guilt on
to
it.
put a guilt on our African family, because our African family in Africa itself, they had not a notion of the term slave. Slave was somebody who was working in the household and who was taking care. But the Africans, the family, were taking care also from the slave, from the slaves. So our people were enslaved by Europeans. So what I would like to we must forecome
Yes.
that we debate. The debate is from the perspective of what African has done or what they didn't do. We have to concentrate on the crime against Africa and the African people committed via the transatlantic slave trade,
Yes.
slavery and colonialism by the whites. And this slave trade and slavery was recognized in 2001 as a crime against humanity.
Yes.
So I know that what some people are doing to get away from this transatlantic slavery, they begin to start that, but Africans themselves has done this. Then sometimes I say, okay, you want to talk about the enslavement of people in Africa? Let me start at the level of the Arabs, for instance, because they enslaved the Africans. So this discussion it is good, but I cannot stay away from these crimes against humanity, against all Africa and African people. You must understand that it takes 9 generations, 450 years, 9 generations they took from Africa, yes,
Yes.
to bring to the other planet, continent,
Yes.
to work under barbaric situations.
Yeah.
These are my ancestors.
Yes.
I
we know.
couldn't be here. I couldn't be here today
Yeah.
if my ancestors were
Didn't-
not
we're not
struggle,
yes.
paid resistance
Yeah.
to end this slavery, this barbaric what they have going through, the
Oh.
barbaric method of punishing people. They were human beings. So until justice,
It's been done.
recognition, reparation has been done, we cannot sleep. We cannot say stay away. You cannot do that. In May, 4th of May, we still commemorate the Jewish Holocaust. The Jewish people, they never shall stay away. Even they get reparations.
Okay.
Even they get excuses. Why we Africa? What is happened with we Africans? It is the same like 48 administrators from Europe could colonize Nigeria. How it comes? What happened with us? Where was our spiritual power?
Yes.
And now we are telling ourselves that stay away from that period. I'm not going to stay away. This African Union 6 region
Yes.
is very important for the reunification of Africans all over the world,
Okay.
because this slave trade,
Yes.
enslavement of our people,
Yes.
caused enormous
Harm.
yeah,
Damage.
you understand?
Yes.
My name
I
is
do.
Biekman.
Yes.
Maybe my name was Okeko. Who knows?
Yeah,
I
yes.
cannot trace my family.
Okay.
This is the crime. So, sister, our children are getting history in the schools.
Yeah.
Our story, we have to make sure that it also recognized in the history.
Yes.
That people know why we are here, why Africans are in the Netherlands. So please, this year we celebrate, we commemorate
Yes.
150 year of the abolition of the slavery
Yes.
and the enslavement of our African people.
Yes.
We have to go further until the Dutch government say excuse, not remorse. Remorse is a one-way street.
Yeah.
We want excuse and we want reparation. I'm not going to talk today about the concept of reparation
Yeah.
because everybody thinks when you talk about reparation, they talk it is money that we want.
Okay.
No.
But no. It's
Look
not.
at the effects. Look at racism.
Yes.
In the Netherlands, we have steeds Zwarte Piet.
Yes.
Think about that. We have the golden carriage of the Queen. Every year she is riding with a panel, with naked African men handing goods to people. That is the golden carriage. How African people with spiritual power
Yes.
can make that happen in the Netherlands. Where are we? And that is the same what happened with us 400 years.
Yes.
That white people, only 10 administrative white Americans could enter in the country and colonize us. We're speaking French, we're speaking English, I'm speaking Dutch. In
But
fact,
if I may ask, give us an update on the latest development with the African Union 6th region.
okay, if I look at the African Union 6 region development, if I look at the union itself, 25 of May last year, they adopted the declaration, and in the declaration they put straight how they want to deal with, communicate with the African diaspora. So then they have commissions where we can be observers and later I think members of the commissions. For instance, ECOSOC, they have already declared 20 seats for the African diaspora, but they have, beside the projects, the African diaspora projects, the African Union has now 5 legacy projects. That is for them to organize, mobilize the diaspora on global level. One is, for instance, the volunteers database project, so that they know the nature of the diaspora, who is who, what expertise, and who, so that when there are projects, they realize that there are so many expertise abroad, what they can, set in. Then we have this African Diaspora Investment Bank, they are busy with that. And what they want is a global entrepreneurs network organization.
Okay.
So that, because we are scattered, we are all over the world, people are doing a lot of business, good things, good business, new businesses. We have on energy, water, infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. So it is very important that the African Union knows about this project. In relation to that, we have the African Caribbean Pacific program, where there is money and where they need skills to develop projects, to implement the projects. And it is very important that if there is money and if there is a diaspora policy, that they know where the diasporas are, that they recognize it, to integrate them in the implementation of these projects. Let me take a side. If you look at, for instance, the policy of the Dutch,
Yeah.
with the ontwikkelingssamenwerking money, they add one criteria that the Dutch bedrijven,
Yeah. Yes. The Dutch. Yes.
companies,
Yeah.
should integrate also when it comes to project development and project implementation.
Yes.
So we Africans, we have also companies. So why should the Dutch government use only white companies within the context of their ontwikkelingssamenwerkings aid?
Yes.
So, therefore it is necessary that there is a global entrepreneurs network organization,
Yes.
so that when it comes to projects, that we African and the diaspora who know Africa, who have the feeling and affinity for the interests of Africa and the benefit of the people, have also a place in that project. Another regional, we are busy to organize the chapters, to build organizations, because you must understand that without an organization, a national diaspora organization, we will not succeed
Exactly.
in implementing. So on regional level we are busy, so that we can realize a federal structure to communicate as a communication strategy with the African Union. So if you ask me in the Netherlands, we are busy since 2005, and now since the declaration, we organized two round tables specific on the topic of organize and mobilize the diaspora. And so it is not easy, I can tell you. It is not an easy task.
Wow.
But I can tell you that if we have dedicated people, if we have devoted people, who beside of their own belang,
Yeah.
can look at the bigger picture
Yeah.
of the African Union, of the Africans, even in the Netherlands, you can imagine what impact it should make if we have one national organization with commissions, for instance, Commission on Human Rights,
Yes.
who can take care of racism issues,
Yes. Yes.
Commission on Education and Development,
Yes.
Science and Technology, health, economical cooperation, political cooperation. If you have these commissions headed by experts, dedicated people who can assist,
Yes.
and if you have people with political strategical skills who can deal with government issues, you can imagine what impact it should make that we have one, that we can speak as one voice.
Yes.
Because now everybody is, if you look for instance at the opinion programs, you look at for instance at Pauw en Witteman. You hear about Pauw en Witteman?
Yeah.
You hear about De Wereld Draait Door?
Yes.
These are all programs. When it comes to information, they have their white Africa experts. You don't see a black man
No.
with expertise at the table. No, you see white people who are
Yes.
talking about Africa.
All the time.
How you think about the negative image building towards African people?
Yes.
If you look at, for instance, the AIDS care promotion on the television, you see black children with flies,
All over, yes.
all over flies
Yes.
in their that is the image
They are projecting.
they projected Africa.
Yes.
You can imagine that if we have this commission on human rights who is taking care of all this stereotypical image
Yes.
building things.
Yes.
If you look at HIV AIDS, you will hear only in Africa.
Yeah.
So if we started,
Meanwhile, it's going everywhere.
if you started to look at that and where it comes from, these are the challenges of the African Union. And
Wow.
the challenges, it is we have been invited by the African Union. It is how we are going to take care of this invitation. Sister, I'm very happy. This is the first time since I'm here. No one, maybe 20 years ago, speak on an African radio that people realize that even if we are Africans from Suriname, I think these people are sometimes more African and they try to be African. They are Africans, but they try, in the eyes of the other Africans, to be good Africans. Because a good African is someone who lives from the principles of Ubuntu, is someone who is taking care of the family. So that is what we have in the Netherlands, and that is exactly what I have done in March 2012,
Wow.
13,
Yes.
at the CSW, the Commission on the Status of Women
Yeah.
in the Americas.
Okay.
I speak about good governance, starting at global, at family level.
Wow.
And I have declared, I have defined the family level on global,
Yes.
on household, in the neighborhood, in the city, in the country. We are all family. But we have a lost sense of imagination, what means to be a family, to be member of a family. You can take the member of a family from the perspective of Africa. That is what I'm talking now about, or from the Netherlands. We human beings are members of family. So when we talk about violence against women, okay, what I have done, I use the concept of good governance, of governance and government in the context of the household, of the family. Because you must understand that everybody who are in government came from a family. So if you are a bad leader, something happened within the family.
Yeah, it's true.
Something happened within the household family.
Well, let me just take this time to ask people who are out there listening to us, in case anybody will want to give us a call or have any reaction towards what Dr. Biekman is speaking. You can give us a call on 020-737-1619. Remember, we are talking about good governance begins at the family level with Dr. Barryl Biekman. Yes.
Okay, so it is not my pretension to talk about all this theoretical concept of good governance, but on all this theoretical concept, I take some key elements, 4 key elements. These are governing and control, sharing the task and responsibilities, responsible management, good performance of leadership. And the key principles I take from these key elements are diplomacy, transparency,
Yeah.
integrity, equal treatment, and efficiency and effectivity.
Wow.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, forgive me for my pronunciation.
Yeah.
And this all objectives are justice,
Justice.
safety, peace, stability, and sustainable development on all levels of society. So what I have done, I have used the concept of this engendered analysis from Ashwood, Georgina Ashwood.
Okay.
Okay, she said that she put it, when she put it in the context, she identified also the household or family level and other levels like the clan, the nation, the neighborhood, but also the national government and the international or global government. And I used all this to define what I understand by good governance starts in family level.
Yeah, yes.
I
want to
said,
know more about that.
I defined it as a manner of governing in such a way that it leads to the creation of responsibility at all levels of the society. There is no inequality with regards to gender or age.
Yeah.
There is authority without the family, but without exploitation of biasness. There is integrity, there is openness and transparency. For instance, these are the criteria for good results. So, if you look at these principles, it is clear to me that if you implement this on family level.
Yes.
And when I talk about family level, I talk about the extended family.
Extended family.
Not only a mother, a father,
Yeah.
and children.
Okay, nuclear family, you are talking about extended family.
Yes. That means the whole from the mother's belly. How do you say?
Yeah. The siblings.
The mother, what come out
Out
of?
of the womb.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, if you look at that, that means that we have a responsibility to bring up our children so that they can become good people.
Mhm.
How it comes, sister, that we use in Africa. Let me talk about Africa.
Yeah.
Because not in Africa only. Violence against women is and girls, sometimes also men, male, are in every continent. You know, even in the Netherlands.
Yes.
When we hear about killing children by a father, it's also
Violence.
so when I speak about Africa, our business, don't forget that in other continents also. But sister, can you imagine that we have a family where male came from out it and that they are raping elder women
Wow.
when there is conflict,
It's terrible.
that they rape children
Jesus.
as a form of a strategy, conflict strategy.
Wow.
Sister, think about it. That our own men, African men, are doing that. These are men who came from a family. How are we going to make sure that there is stability,
It's terrible.
sustainable
Yes.
development within the family? How we are going to make sure that our leaders fulfill the criteria of good governance that I have mentioned. We are the ones. Of course, you need laws, like what the CSW in for the Millennium Development Goals. You know that they have three issues that depends on this. But is it not that we are the ones, we women, we mothers, we are the people who are giving birth? Of course, a father is into that, who are giving birth to these boys, these men, who are doing this cruelty. So therefore I have said that we have defined a new model of familyhood, a new model of brotherhood, a new model of sisterhood. We have to, don't wait for the Dutch government, for instance, to define for us what is the model. Because if you look at the modalities in the Netherlands, you will find out that man, women marriages is also one of the topics. So that can be good, but let no people come and tell us how we have to define our familyhood. So if you look at this criteria, these key elements of good governance, of governing the family, if you look at the key principles of governing the family, so if you ask me, the African Union 60, I talk to my sisters in the United States, sisters, we are the responsible to start with this. And we don't do it like Ghanese woman and Nigerian woman and Cameroon woman. Let me do that from the perspective of African women.
Thank you so much, Dr. Biekman. Thank you so much for the information you have come to give to us. And we hope we can have you again and again, because for the sake of time, we will be rounding up now. We hope to have you again and again. Thank you.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity.
You're welcome.